Well, welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. I'm Kent Adams. I hope you're having a good day. It's warmed up a little bit this week again after a couple of cooler days and a little bit of rain. The rain was welcome. We have actually had a darn dry summer so far this year. We talk a lot about the criminal justice system and what's going on, and sometimes we shake our heads because maybe somebody should have been assigned more time in jail or be put on probation, or maybe they should have given them the first chance and let them go back out into society and so forth. I'm pleased to have Tracy Staab. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Here today to talk about that. She's got experience on the municipal court here in Spokane, but she's looking to climb the ladder for the appeals court. Is that right?
That's
okay.
Correct.
I've got to keep track. This unfortunately is like our education system. Sometimes we often don't pay much attention to who's running for judges and who's running for school boards and so forth. And yet both of those are clearly important to our lives and the lives of our kids, and some of cases our grandkids. So we're going to talk with Tracy about that. But first, let's find out what the weather's going to be like.
As the day goes by,
it's a very good opportunity to see the public and support them and help them out and cheer them on during Bloomsday.
It's one of the best things about Spokane is that we have these major events and the whole community comes together not just to participate but to volunteer and show that they really care about our city and making our city look great.
this type of an event really is emblematic of Spokane because so many people get involved. We have 50,000 people probably running this race. Always has been a very huge event.
Right now we're at the corner of Broadway and Nettleton. It's the last water station before the finish, so people are pretty much dehydrated by the time they get to us. They really need our water.
The water stations are a vital part, especially on warm days like today. It's real important that we have the volunteers to help with that. Without the volunteers, Bloomsday wouldn't exist.
All up and down the course, there are people that are involved in this celebration. It really is a celebration of what Spokane's all about.
Welcome to Apex Plaza, Spokane's one-stop cannabis destination. Apex Cannabis features thousands of economy, value, and luxury cannabis products. Cannagear features hemp-based CBD products, glass, goods, and gear. Stop by 1325 North Division to experience the Apex difference.
This product has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming. Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. There may be health risk associated with the consumption of this product. For use only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children.
The economy is getting stronger, banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Tracy Staab, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Now, currently, I mentioned up front, you're a municipal judge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So just Spokane County?
City of Spokane.
City of Spokane.
Yes.
Okay. Really municipal then, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. What kind of cases do you hear in that job?
So municipal court is, we have about 8,000 to 10,000 criminal cases a year.
Oh, wow.
And these are misdemeanors. So that includes theft cases, it includes trespass cases, it includes driving under the influence, driving with a revoked license, it includes misdemeanor domestic violence.
Yes.
So assault cases, violation of no contact orders, malicious mischief.
Some of that's pretty serious
It
stuff,
is.
though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is by no means small crime.
Right.
So it can be pretty significant. And we also process about 50,000 infraction cases a year.
Wait. 50,000?
Yes, sir.
Now, who's we? Just you?
No, no, we have an amazing crew that we work with
Okay.
and stuff. There are 3 judges on the municipal court, and then we have 3 commissioners, which are like assistant judges, and they help us
Right.
with a lot of the hearings. And then we have a clerk staff that does an amazing job.
Yeah. You depend on them,
They
don't you?
do. They're
Absolutely.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Let me ask a question, and it's something that bugs the heck out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you up front, and that's the DUI. And I know the law is that there can be some leniency in the first 1 or 2. I totally disagree with that, though. How do we, I guess, other than go back to the legislature, how do we make that stronger? Because there's an awful lot of repeat folks. It appears to me in what I see.
Yeah.
Okay, am I close to being correct in terms of repeats?
When you say a lot, I would say statistically, a lot of people who get a DUI for the first time don't pick up a second or a third.
Okay, good.
And then
good.
a small minority of those pick up 2, 3, 4
Okay,
down the
okay.
road.
So that's what I'm seeing
Yes.
a lot of.
Those are and they, I mean, those are the ones that get a lot of attention.
Yes.
So, and it's interesting that you say that, because when you talk about what do we do with that, one of the things that I'm doing is running a DUI therapeutic court. So we started this a couple of years ago, and the people who are admitted into this very high intensive supervision court are people with many DUIs in their background.
Oh boy.
And they come in because if they're successful in getting through the program, they get a reduction in their jail time.
Okay.
But it's by no means the easy way out of this.
Okay.
They're in court every other week. They're in treatment probably 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh,
Then they
wow.
do self-help groups 2 times a week on top of that. They not only have an alcohol monitoring device on their leg, but then they're UA testing 8 times a month.
Okay.
So drugs and alcohol, and they have to go through mental health evaluation. They have to go through cognitive behavioral therapy. I mean, it's intensive. However, in the 2 years that we have been in place, we have not had one person pick up another DUI.
Oh,
in
wow.
in that entire time.
Now, okay, so it is working.
It is working.
All right.
We've had a couple people who have failed out of the program,
Yeah.
but they haven't picked up a new DUI. And, it's working with people and really changing some lives.
Yeah,
So
changing habits.
it is. And what we're finding out really is that a huge number of people with these repeat DUIs actually have very significant underlying mental health issues.
Yeah.
Whether it's trauma or depression or anxiety,
Right.
PTSD. And if we don't address those underlying issues, then we're just
It's going to come back.
we're masking.
No.
And so we're requiring people to get that mental health evaluation and the treatment as part of the DUI court, and it's making a big difference.
Good. I'm just curious, based on all that's been going on the last 6 months, in case you hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
Are you seeing more DUIs and so forth?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the first month when we went into lockdown, they really dropped off.
Sure.
And it was because the bars closed.
Yes.
Right? And then we noticed that probably in May, they really started to tick back up again. But what we're seeing more of is not necessarily the alcohol DUIs, we're seeing the drug DUIs.
Okay.
And we're seeing them in the middle of the day.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I think that we've got a possible tidal wave coming down the road here where people are locked up in their homes. They're
Yeah.
antisocial. They're not connecting with community.
Right.
And they're either bored or they're coping.
And that's why I was asking, because you had mentioned the depression and everything else that goes with that.
Yes.
And that's kind of our second virus that we haven't talked a lot about, unfortunately. And I think we're going to, we see it with our kids in school and so forth, but I don't know that we see it so much in adults.
Yes.
And I think it's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that we're running the risk of seeing this come down the road as a collateral effect of all of this quarantine.
Yes, yes. Well, but you may not see that because you are going for something else, the Court of Appeals.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
Now, if I remember correctly from what you mentioned the other day, you moved from the city of Spokane to kind of be the judge in the Court of Appeals for 6 counties.
Well, and let me correct you on that. So
Okay.
the Court of Appeals is a statewide court.
Okay.
It's the second highest court in the state, so it's just below the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay.
It is divided, the state court is divided into 3 divisions.
Okay.
This is Division 3, and it covers all 20 counties east of the Cascades.
Oh, wow.
Now, the counties that will be voting on this particular position
Oh,
are
okay.
6 counties. So Okanagan, Ferry, Stevens, Pend Oreille, Spokane, and Lincoln.
Okay.
But
It's
if
kind of like the commissioners when you vote for your
Right.
own and then part of a bigger group. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. But the person who's elected to that position will sit on cases that decide issues for all of Eastern
Oh, wow.
Washington. Yes.
Yeah. And I was telling you before, one of the things I love doing this is I meet new people and I learn new
Yeah,
things, you know?
yes.
And I, unfortunately, like I said in the very beginning, we often don't pay attention to school boards and judges and things like that. And we kind of, or we call our lawyer friends and say, who do you
you vote for?
Yeah, who do you vote for? And so, well, last time I paid, no, I'm, but you know what I mean. It's not our expertise.
No.
But we want good judges. What makes you that good judge?
Well, it's hard voting for judges. Ethically, we're nonpartisan, so we cannot run as Republicans, and we cannot
Right.
we can't even suggest our political affiliation. On top of that, we cannot tell people how we would decide cases if they were to come before us. So it makes it very hard for voters to decide. And what
Yes.
I tell people is it's very much like choosing a job applicant. If you were going to hire somebody to do a job, what would you look for?
Right.
And so you'd look for qualifications, you'd look for experience.
Experience?
And you'd check their references.
Yeah.
So what I did at the beginning of all of this was I went through the process of being rated by independent bar associations.
Okay, okay.
And they don't endorse. What they do is they evaluate you to determine if you're qualified for this position.
Okay, okay.
And they...
Is there a scale or something?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
They'll rate you not qualified if they don't think you're qualified.
Let me take a wild guess. You made it through.
I made it through.
Yeah.
But it's a really intensive process. It's, the application is 13 pages long. They call dozens of references. They review your writing sample. They sit you down in a very intensive group interview, and they, throw questions at you. So I did that with 7 different bar associations. And
Oh my gosh.
yes, it was interesting. So 3 of them rated me exceptionally well qualified.
Okay.
Or 4 of them rated me exceptionally well qualified, and 3 of them rated me well qualified.
Good.
So that's exceptionally well is the highest rating you can
Yeah.
get for a position. So I've been vetted.
Okay. Yeah.
And I tell you that you look at qualifications. I have 27 years of experience.
No, you're not old enough for that.
Thank you. I was an attorney for 16 years, and 10 of those years I focused on appellate work.
Okay.
So that's all I did.
Okay. Okay.
So I've worked on hundreds of appeals,
Yeah.
including about 70 cases at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Okay.
I have been a judge for 11 years now. And so, I have the qualification and the experience.
Yes, yes.
And then finally, we look at references. And if you look at my references listed on my website, it's very expansive. More than 50 judges, more than 100 attorneys. I've got community members from all across the state who are endorsing me,
Good.
who know me and know my
Yeah,
reputation.
yes,
And are willing to stand behind me.
Yeah.
So,
So let me go way back. What made you decide you wanted to be an attorney way back when you were a young'un?
okay, that's a good question. So I started out at a community court when I was 18, and I started in the paralegal program.
Okay.
and got a job while I was still in college, working for a law firm over in Auburn.
Okay.
And they were very nice attorneys, but I realized kind of early on that I was doing all the work and they were getting all the money, and it wasn't that difficult.
I hear you.
So my mom suggested, why don't you go to law school? And it seemed very daunting at the time, but she said, just go, and if you hate it, you can quit.
Yeah.
And so I did. And I got into law school. I was terrified because it seemed like I was surrounded by people who were much smarter than I was.
Yeah.
I ended up graduating in the top 10% of my class.
Oh, wow.
Probably because I worked my
Rear end. Yeah,
off.
okay. Just in case there are kids watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, that's what got me into law school.
Yeah. And then what made you decide to run for this office in the Court of Appeals?
Well, one of the jobs that I had when I was a young attorney, when I, not at the very beginning, but a couple years in, I clerked for a judge at the Court of Appeals for 4 years. I was there, and I worked as a clerk, which is basically the grunt work for the judge, doing all the groundwork.
Yeah.
And
here we call them interns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just one step above.
Yeah.
You get paid, not very much, but you do.
I hear you.
And I just loved that job. It was just an amazing job, and it's what really kickstarted my appellate work as an attorney after that. So I took that experience that I got at the Court of Appeals, turned it into a really good practice before I was appointed to the bench. And so for me, this is an opportunity to come full circle.
Yes.
And come back to the court where I started as a young attorney. And
now, why do I guess that you probably also go out and talk to young ladies about the opportunity in law?
Well, women are becoming much more predominant in the law and the legal system.
Right.
But when I was at the Court of Appeals 21 years ago, there had never been a female judge on that bench. And that was only 21 years ago. So if there have now been 3, there are 2 on there currently. If I'm elected to that position, it will be the first time in history that they will have 3 female judges on the Court of Appeals, and they will have a panel of 3 judges made up of women. So it'll be somewhat historic. I'm
all right, that's kind of kicking butt, isn't it? Did I say that out loud?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Behind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's great. So after this, you're going to wait a couple years and then hope to be appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court?
No. No.
The scrutiny is a little tough, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Can you imagine going through something? I mean,
No.
I don't care which side.
Yeah.
But just the whole process is.
It is grueling. And we're all going to get a crash course in nominations. You'll find if you watch any of the television on that nomination process that Judge Barrett is not going to answer a lot of questions.
Right.
For the same reason that I can't answer
Well, when you
them.
said that, I was thinking to the previous judges and that have gone through that process, and for the very reason that you said, you set yourself up as being, because then you get excluded from hearing a case.
Well, yeah,
because you're biased. She's already said, or he's already said.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So we promise to faithfully uphold the Constitution.
Right.
We promise to follow the law, and at the Court of Appeals level, we're an error-correcting court. We're not a big policy court.
Right.
So our job is to follow the law as it's been written by the legislature and not go outside of those bounds. We're not legislators.
Right.
We're not legislating from the bench.
Right.
Stay in line. Let the legislators do their job,
Right.
and just make sure that everybody's...
Well, you're the safeguard.
Yes.
In a lot of ways to make sure that it did follow the law.
Right.
And so forth. Wow. Are you excited about this?
I am nervous.
It's always the running for office that's kind of the tough
it's
part,
starting
isn't it?
to get crunch time, and
How many days to election?
35.
Oh, but who's keeping track, right? Yeah.
It's 5 weeks from today until November 3rd.
That's true.
Now, you and I talked about this.
Yes.
That the ballots might be dropping early.
Yes, and the reason we've confirmed it on the Spokane County elections website, so it apparently is true. But I know you're checking with the state. But Normally, the ballots would be dropped about 2 weeks from now.
The 16th.
Yes. Now they're going to drop next week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which is a week early, which the only reason I know about it is that we're placing some ads for a couple of,
Sure.
of clients and so forth, and all of a sudden what they thought would be we want to be out there on the day the ballots are
Ballots
mailed,
drop, yes.
right, to election day, which was 3 weeks. Now, Kent, it's 4 weeks, and we need to have the spot done.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so it's like everybody's
Hair's
hustling.
on
like,
fire.
And I don't know when they plan to tell. I didn't receive a notice here at the station or anything. But so for many of you watching, this may be the first time that you're going to notice a ballot in the mail next week. And what we're hearing, again, unconfirmed completely, is that with the U.S. mail across the country telling everybody that there would be the mail
Delays, yeah.
campaign and so forth, that they wanted, because we in Washington have been doing the mail-in thing for 10 or 15 years, whatever it is, wanted people to get their ballots so that the offices and at the county offices and so forth don't get inundated with send me a ballot. Well, it's automatically going to go out to you, and it's a protection thing for all of their staff sanity is what it
Sure.
really becomes. But it would have been nice to know, right? Yeah. Did you just find out today?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I know, I'm with you.
So someone told me, Kent, I've quit saying during this COVID thing that things can't get crazier.
I know.
And my friend Don Morgan, you may know him, he said I quit saying that. And I think we just have to stop saying it, because whatever we think we know today is going to be wrong this afternoon or tomorrow at the latest.
I know.
It's nuts. Well, I love the fact, I think it's important for folks like you and others out there to take time out of your career and so forth to run for office and be there, because we need people like you that you were talking about the law as written, and I think we're going to see a lot of that at the U.S. Supreme Court in the next couple of weeks, and talk about not a living document or what we think it should be, but what it says.
Right.
And if it's wrong,
Then there's a way to
there's a
change
way
it.
to change it, and we can all think of things that maybe are wrong, okay? But let's apply the law as written. Otherwise, you, as a judge, are writing law.
Yeah.
And we have a three-party,
Yep.
a system.
branches of
Three
government.
branches of government, yes. I unfortunately think a lot of our young people don't understand all of that, and I don't think we're teaching it, but
Well, remember Schoolhouse Rock?
yes.
Schoolhouse Rock, I mean, you learn a lot as a kid
No
about
kidding.
I'm just a bill.
Yeah, I'm just a bill, huh? Okay. Don't remember all that.
You don't?
Folks, no. I'm at the
I'm
grandparent
just a bill.
stage, okay? Anyway, Tracy, thank you. Good luck
Thank
to
you.
you. And are you going to vote the first day the ballot arrives?
Probably.
Probably. Okay. Can I guess who you're going to vote for?
I'm going to vote for myself.
Good for you. All right. Thank you, and best of luck to you, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Thanks. And thanks for watching the Pulse of Spokane, everybody. Have a good day.
Governor Inslee's edicts are not saving lives, they're killing businesses. How is it possible that in a 9-acre park, I cannot have anybody here in a safe manner? Our employees are healthy, all our guests have been healthy, and the only thing unhealthy with this situation is Governor Jay Inslee's overreaching arm to shut us down, and that is what we're fighting for, to overrule a government that is trying to take over the lives of American citizens for their own benefit, for their own plans.
Thanks for watching. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or check out any of our other programs on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.